It's interesting. I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting when girls say, my man is my only friend. Because, like, it's very layered.
I think that is a really big red flag.
Incredibly.
It's a raging red flag.
But before we get there, when you guys are newly in a relationship, yeah, what do you think you're like? Like, how do you think...
In what sense?
This is an expose.
In what sense?
But like, yeah, how do you think you are? Like, what do you think you... Like, how do you feel like you are with your family, your existing friends, the man that has now entered the equation? What do you think you're like in that initial stage?
Why are you fucking on me? That was a question for everybody.
You're our expert.
No, tell me, say, are you looking at me?
Oh, you start.
What do I think I'm like? Okay. Let me think about this.
She's like, okay.
Okay. What do I think I'm like?
I can tell you what I think you're both like.
Okay, do you know what I think? I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning stages, I'm all about my man.
100%.
You know, I was gonna say that. That's why I kept quiet.
If it's
I'll be really real.
Oh.
I'll be very, very real. Maybe like the first 3 months.
No, 6.
6. Okay, yeah. Thank you. 3 to 6 months.
I loved you. I'm so glad you guys are being honest.
Are you gonna be honest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, first 3 to 6 months, I'm all about my man. You know, how can I help? How can I be of service? You know, what do you need?
No, because
like,
You
if you want me to go grocery
I'm so
shopping, I will go.
fascinated.
That's what I would do. And then I'm not gonna lie, maybe even by like the 4th, 5th month, I'm like, okay, Ashley, you need to think about your other friendship. You need to think about your other bonds.
Right.
And do you know what? I do my best.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do.
That's so funny.
So,
That's
yeah.
a good answer.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ash.
Chevy.
Guys, you know what? Let me put it this way, because you know me, I'm so deep. I just try to think of my behaviour and why I do certain things.
Right.
I'm with Ashley, but let me tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Thank you, sister.
Okay. See, with me,
Yeah.
because we're talking about a new relationship.
Yeah, newly.
Remember, there's a phase in a new relationship where, like, you're just so in love.
Yeah. You're like newlyweds.
I'm not to say it fades, but
Right.
naturally in life,
You
like
get a
you
grip.
get a grip and you get adjusted and you know. But in those
In the beginning, the
new
grip is not
stages,
there.
oh my gosh! In those new stages, I just want to spend every minute with you. I'm that kind of person. Like, I want to do everything together.
I
wanna
want to
go-
go. The brother.
No, I always wanted a boyfriend.
If I say so.
And this is transparency. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. By the way, this is not me saying it's good or bad. I don't know, but that's just what I
Honestly, I
do.
don't think it is a good or bad convo.
I think not convo, but just in terms of how because there's some people that are different. Good for you, but me, I am like that. Like in the beginning stages, I'm just very much like, oh my gosh, I want to know so much about you. I want to spend so much time with you. I want to do this with you. I want to do that with you. And the way my mind works is, I love my friends, and I always will, and I really hope my friends, when I've ever been in those phases, like when I've been in that phase. Sorry, my friend has never.
Forgive me.
No, guys, listen. My friends have never questioned our friendship.
No.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because this is years and years of friendship built, and we're gonna see each other in different
How can we
phases.
question you?
No, you never know.
No,
Not you, but just in
understand.
general.
Yeah,
just in general.
Of
Do you know what I
course.
mean? So years and years of like building your friendship should be a rock to show that you're not going anywhere.
Right.
But right now,
I'm
gotta
busy.
go a
There's
minute.
someone new in the picture.
Gotta
and
go.
They're getting adjusted. Give them time to
Give
get
them
adjusted.
give them time,
They're new
please.
here.
And by the way, my giving them time does not completely feel like I'm not speaking to anybody
Yeah.
at
Right,
all. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
so
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
But of
How it
course, my
looks.
time will be spent more elsewhere than it would on a normal day.
Yes.
because
Right.
things have changed.
And I think that's fair.
And that's how I am.
Okay.
I don't know how I am. You guys can tell me. I don't think I'm like as
I think
intense
I
as
think
you
you're
two.
in the
I think I'm
middle.
in the middle.
Yes.
So I'm definitely my man. But at the same time, where's the girls at? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
You're definitely in the middle.
I genuinely thought I was more like this, like
But
like
then,
you two, but I
wait.
don't think so. But then I'm trying to look at my life.
But do you know what it is? I would still say, when I'm thinking, I would still say you're in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
Because the way you balance it out is you could be with someone like from midday till the night, but then right afterwards you're seeing your girls.
Yeah, you're
that's why I
the
say
type-
you're in the middle.
You can split your time very well.
I'm like, okay, guys, I've been with him. I'm coming to see you.
Even if like
But
you,
you guys,
even if you need
the
to push,
entire day,
even if
I
you need
won't
to
see
push
you.
the time back, you'll still let us. But you're still coming.
I'm coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
so
entire
true.
That's how you are.
the entire day maybe, but the next day for sure.
Right, next day, yeah.
That's not
But
us.
that day, unfortunately, is booked
Because one thing
someone has booked it in advance.
Because with me, when this is bad again, beginning stages, I'm the type like if it's time to go, I'm not going.
Right.
We're gonna sit down and continue chilling because we're still so infatuated,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
So that's why that whole day has to be, and then the next day, the whole day with the girls.
Yes,
Right.
I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
see that.
Do you know
think
what I
that's
mean?
the balance.
Yeah.
And
That's
I think
how it
that's
is.
fine. And I think, do you feel like you've ever felt away when your girl has gotten into a new relationship?
Never.
I have.
Really?
Oh.
I remember telling you.
Oh, was it actually?
Listen, yeah.
Wait, when was this? Sorry, I'm trying
I
to
told
think.
you this. We had a conversation about it.
Really?
So this is like your most recent relationship.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah.
At the very beginning.
Really?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I also, in context, I remember the reason I felt away was also, I think, because I was freshly out of my situation. So I think it hurt more.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I think it not
Okay.
hurt is so
It's just-
but
I know what you mean. It's
but it
different.
felt
Right.
different.
And in that season, you needed your girls.
I need,
Right.
And it's not like she
I
wasn't
remember
there,
that. Yeah.
by the
I
way.
remember that.
I just
I
think
remember that. You just needed like an overwhelming.
I was just overwhelmed.
You needed an overwhelming sense of love.
Yes. And the thing is with me is like, I'm very like in love with my friends.
Yeah.
So like, as much as I'm in love with my man, I'm in love with my friends.
Right.
So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
when I'm going through something, and these two know, I also kind of am quite like when I'm going through something, I don't really
pull back.
speak.
Yeah.
It's when I'm finished, I don't come and speak.
Yeah.
So then also,
I'll not come and speak
I'll
when
not come
I'm
and tell them
finished.
what's going on. So then, because of that, I think it was a lot going on in my brain, and so I knew it was not a personal. It wasn't an Ashley thing.
No.
Because I know her and I've been in her life for so long. At that point, it wasn't because of that situation.
But it still was
more-
a little bit like,
No,
okay,
no.
it was.
No, okay, if you want to say
Because
that,
looking back,
You think so?
yeah.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think that's
was in a
normal.
painful- I think I was just in a painful point in my life.
I think so a
And
little bit though.
It wasn't. I think it's very difficult. And what I was trying to say is essentially those are situations where you can either become very like, you can internalize it too much to the point that you'll become bitter. So I could have become bitter.
yeah,
but
yeah,
I
And this
yeah.
is where breakdown
But
in
it's-
friendship
yes.
starts to show.
But I knew
If
that.
you've watched our previous episode,
But I knew that the best thing for me to do was to tell Ashley.
to communicate.
and
yeah,
once
yeah,
I told her, the feeling went like it literally disappeared.
Right.
And but you know what it is? I love that you told me that because that was for me to be more mindful of that, like to do more. Whereas there's some women now. Imagine on the flip side, where and have you guys ever been in that position where someone has felt away and they've come and told you, or you felt away and you've told someone and it hasn't been received well?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so was it that the person felt away towards you?
Yes.
Right.
And I think
And do you
Oh,
think it
I
was?
remember that.
Do you think it was within reason?
no.
Okay.
So now,
So how do you navigate that then when it's not within reason?
see, to me, I think there's
'Cause-
different levels to these things,
Right.
because I think your friendship will actually show in those times. So what I mean by that is, I'm of the understanding, especially these are my two closest friends. So I'm of the understanding that if they're in something and it's fresh, or even just I know what it's like to be in a relationship at the beginning, or when something special is happening, for instance. I'm never going to take anything personal that they're doing in that time. In fact, all three of us are the same with that. Like, if we know that's where you're at, we're like, have a good time and send us pics.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, because you
Lit.
deserve it, and I want to see
Enjoy
you smile.
yourself. And so for me, I feel like it tells more about your friendship, how your friends react. But then also there are the people that become a bit weird when they become in a relationship. But I can't relate to that because I don't have friends like that. But I'm just saying there's two sides. And I think if it's not well received, like if someone comes to you with that information, you should always be gracious. I'm not saying if they've come at you and it's a bit sideways, don't be gracious. For me, I had a conversation with them and I was just like, you know what? This is not what it was. And I think it actually tells me more about that situation we've got going on. And
But I
that
can
had to
acknowledge
be-
your feelings.
Exactly. That had to be rectified and that was rectified. But it speaks more to what kind of friendship you guys have. Because for me, whenever like as I just said, if I know this Ashley's about to go and have a good time, in fact, I'm the person cheering it on and for me, it doesn't bother me. Like
You
that
need to
doesn't
see the
bother me.
content.
That's all. All I want to see is the pics, and I want to know that you had a good time.
Right.
And we need catch up when you're back.
We need feedback.
That's it. And I think in a true sisterhood, that's usually the vibe.
That should be the vibe.
That's what I'm used to anyway.
Tell me, because I have a follow-up question afterwards. So
wait, what was the question now?
If any of your
if
friends
that's ever happened,
happened to you, or if you felt a way about
someone
your
else.
other friends, even if you haven't vocalized it, actually.
No, I've never felt a way about my friends being in relationships. If anything, I've seen it as inspirational. I've been inspired because obviously there was a period in my life where some of my friends were in relationships and I was single. And I don't know if you guys remember that period where you were both in relationships and I was single. And do you remember what I used to say?
Yes.
I tapped into the blessings. Like I was so happy. I wanted to know what was happening for Valentine's Day, what you got. I was so into it because I love love and I love when my friends experience love genuinely. So I think if anything, I've not felt that way.
I'm about vice versa. Someone felt.
Not that they've come to me with.
Not that you're aware of.
Not that I'm aware of. No one's ever come to me, and I'll be honest. Sometimes I do feel I feel. How do I word it? I feel like I'm conscious about it though. Does that make sense? I'm conscious about it, and I feel like sometimes I can be overly conscious about it, where I'd never want my friends to ever feel like I'm leaving them out or not considering them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's never really come to me, but I'm more conscious about it in my head than anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and do you know what?
true.
If a conversation was like that was to happen, like I always said, I feel like there's in friendships, you're not gonna have, especially a long term good friendship, without having uncomfortable conversations. And I feel like it's so important for either parties to have grace when something like a conversation like that is brought towards you. Like the receiver should definitely have a lot of grace and understand that it might have been difficult for this person to come to you to speak about this in the first instance. So it's very important to not be defensive and have a certain tone when approaching such situations, even if you don't agree. Even if you don't agree, like there's a way you can ask about their feelings. Why do you feel this way? Like, how do we move forward? You know, that kind of thing is so important. And again, back to our previous episode, when you care about a friendship, you will try.
Right.
100%.
Like people like this, you know, we've had dilemmas, we've seen it online, we've seen people even in person where maybe a friend could bring this to them and all of a sudden it's like, she's not happy for me. All of a sudden it's like, she's jealous and she doesn't want this. And I feel
she's
like
the one that's wishing bad on me.
You know,
answer.
and I genuinely feel like there can be more grace in that aspect. Your friend can feel the way they're feeling, but then for them to come to you and tell you that this is how I feel, I feel like they love you. Especially, by the way, I'm talking about years of friendship, someone you know their character and you trust them, and you know you do you know what I'm trying to say? Obviously I can't speak for new friendships because I don't know, but old friendships where you feel you build solid foundation and you know this person maybe isn't usually like this, or you know you don't feel weird about them or never got weird vibes. If they come to you on that level, there can definitely be a lot of grace and just discussion, talk about it. That's why you're sisters. So if I feel like I've always, this sounds crazy, but I've always felt like I've prepared for something like that should it happen. I'd never want to come on a defensive vibe and feel like, why do you feel like that? Because that's never, you know, that's not you know, that kind of thing. Whereas it's more like, oh, okay, well, you know, ask questions, try and resolve it. If anything, again, if you don't agree, try to get them to see your point side a little bit more. You know, that kind of thing. And that's what friendship, that sums up friendships.
100%.
That's you hit it up, because I find it so crazy when I see scenarios like that online, and then say the friend has come to you and then you've now taken it as, oh, you know, they're jealous of me, like I'm cutting them off. But that means that you never really regarded them as a friend for you to so quickly not just dismiss their feelings,
100%.
but to also dismiss the friendship.
Look at the example you just gave with Ayo coming to you. Imagine you saw that and you thought, are you a true friend?
She's not happy for me.
Forgetting the years of friendship you've built with her.
That's not what it means.
It doesn't.
And that's where I think a lot of people lack the understanding and the grace, because when you see messages like that, what you can see is this person's actually hurt.
100%.
How can we mend this?
Yeah.
How can we, like you said, move forward? But instead, because of the day and age that we live in, because of the music that people are listening to, because of the influences people are following,
and also because I feel like people are walking traumas,
the drugs, because of the stories that we're seeing from love and hip hop, and you know, all
and the
these different
trauma and the
storylines
different traumas they might have experienced previously.
But a lot of the times as well, if we're being honest, you don't have that trauma. You've watched American TV shows and you've seen how friendships have, and you've now assumed that, okay, if
Everyone
that
is
happens
out to get
me,
you.
then it's that. It's not that.
And you know why? I want to talk on that because I actually think that I find it so weird how people are so quick to say people are jealous of them. Like, I'm just like,
Sorry. If you know Al, she has said this from the
no, but I
very
hate
beginning.
it. Do you know that's actually everybody's jealous of everybody apparently. Like, I find it bizarre because for me, that's not my first assumption. My first assumption
You
is
will get to many places before you
get there.
because to me, the reason why I say it's a cop out is because it means you take no ownership for something that you could have participated in. Like, you could have had a role in what has happened for this person to feel pain.
For the way they
in
feel.
all circumstances, that's not true. I'm not saying it's always true that you've played a role, but like the gracious way to look at it is that what could I have possibly done to make this person feel this way? To automatically say somebody is jealous is to mean that you might have even been mean in the way you chose to carry out your even behavior, because now you can understand why they feel that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it tells you, kind of telling yourself when you say that people are jealous of you constantly.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are
Jealous.
people there are people that are genuinely jealous,
Of
but
course.
even that, I feel like we should be careful before we throw that one out.
Again, I was shout out Dami. I'm gonna say Dami was one. Dami said that whole jealous and envy thing. She genuinely feels like it's not coming from a place of humility.
That's
There's
what I'm
a lot of
saying.
humility lacking, because that means you hold yourself to a higher level than
You feel
your
like
friend.
for someone to be jealous, you feel like they want something that maybe
you
which I can understand might be the case, but it's like you're not humble for you to assume
That's
that.
your first
Because
assumption.
wouldn't you-
Everybody's jealous of
And you know, for you to come to that conclusion without actually having a conversation is crazy
wild.
work. So you haven't done the proper assessment to diagnose someone of that.
Of jealousy, mind you. Again, I feel like it's so important to put this disclaimer because I've been saying it. We are talking about years of friendship.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know about
Someone
anything
you genuinely
else.
consider
A
sister.
friend that maybe
I'm not
this
talking
hasn't
about
happened
your
before.
Instagram friend or someone that you just met. No,
I don't know about
Did your
anyone.
lashes?
That-
I don't know.
Someone that is transactional. She does your lashes, you do her nails. No, that's not what we're talking about.
Like real
We're talking about
friends.
someone like you consider them
That you
your
rely
inner
on,
circle.
yeah.
You have told them like personal, like your personal business.
And that, to me, I would like.
No, what's
like?
going
I just think the
on?
world is crazy because believing the best is always the best thing to do first.
Yes.
Is my opinion.
Yes.
Wow.
If Ashley or Temi comes to express something that they feel that I've done to them and they're upset about it, my assumption would be I've done something to hurt them. Not they're jealous of me and they don't like me and they tear me down.
They want my life.
No, because I think as well, especially because we're talking about long-term friendship.
Right.
Why is that person still in your life? If that is how you view them.
That's how you really feel then. Because for you to come to that conclusion so quickly, you've always felt as if they're jealous of you.
There has been a consistent theme.
Right. Or you've
And
been
maybe you
noticing
like
stuff.
it. They might like it. They might like the superiority complex they currently have in that friendship. Because
Say-
I think some people like the dynamic of, oh, I'm doing better in life than you.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
that's why I
dynamic.
want you there.
This is why we're here, just so
Yeah.
it stays that way. And then when I
Yeah.
see that, you might be slightly no more friendship
Yeah.
because I'm not
'Cause that's the
thriving
real
off
thing.
that anymore.
Because we always talk about, people that are crazy, they want your life. No, but it's also you like that feeds you. You drive off of that. You're happy.
Wow.
It's exciting for you.
To know that you're in your mind, in your head, you are superior
And people are
than
looking
that
up
person.
to you. What?
No problem.
But then sidestepping a little bit.
Right.
So obviously we're talking about in our friendships, like what we're like and believing the best for our sisterhood. But when you're as a girlfriend, because that was the first initial question, do you feel like you're a girlfriend that believes the best? Or do you feel like you're
In
a
what?
girlfriend, like when it comes to disagreements in your
Wait,
relationship?
ask the question.
Do you feel like you're a girlfriend that believes the best first? Because I think
In
Give an
with our
example.
partner or
yeah,
with our friends.
with your partner.
Okay.
So the reason I'm asking that is because initially we were talking about what kind of girlfriend we are at the beginning of our relationship, like when maybe we're very like excitable, whatever. So now we're talking about in a friendship, how that then looks. Then in a relationship, how do you deal with like? How do you deal with your friendships concerning your partner? So believe in the best. So for some people, they don't want their man to be friends with their girls, right? Some
Okay,
girls
right.
are fine with it.
Right, okay. I
Do you-
see what you're
Where do you
you're
think
getting
that
at.
stems from?
I think a lot of the time it's trauma.
Okay.
From personal experiences that maybe like you've had in the past, whereas like because I've heard stories like you've had your man around certain friends and they don't have any boundaries. Not the man, the friends. Whereas whether it's you're overly friendly, you don't know how to behave. You want like you're happy to go above and beyond to be involved in something that you have no involvement in.
Right.
Like I've seen it and I've heard stories and I find that scary. And I think also on the flip side is some women are scared that their man will find their friends attractive. So that also influences how they navigate that. No.
Wow. So, your question about are you the girlfriend that believes the best? What do you mean by that? Sorry.
So I feel like in a lot of relationships, the guy is guilty until proven innocent. So if he does something, if something
your
happens,
mind automatically goes to the worst case scenario.
Yeah, like okay, say the friendship scenario. Say for instance, you see your man around your friends. Your assumption would be that he's done like, I don't know, because I think men get a hard time, and I also think girls get a hard time. I think it's equal, to be fair, because some girlfriends automatically believe their man as soon as he looks at a girl. Something has happened, and they don't give they haven't given space.
You've given
to
no
think
chance
about anything else.
And I've made up a narrative in your head. That's what you're running with.
Yes, and I think being a girlfriend like that, I think your relationship will have a lot of tension because you won't have peace. There's just no peace.
I feel like I'm not how I am in a relationship is how I am as a person anyway, and I'm a type of person that is innocent until proven guilty. That's just my principle. I've always been like that. But I can think of instances where my mind may have taken me to the worst place very, very quickly, and sometimes it goes as far as actually expressing it. But then I recognize it's my trauma. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I recognize there's an issue with me, not him. He hasn't done anything for me to feel that way. Maybe it's baggage from a previous relationship. Maybe it's baggage from what I've been watching, what's been filling my mind. That kind of thing. But I'm the type of person that. Anyway, I believe I try to recognize. Maybe one day we'll have him on and he can speak. But
not to do testimonies.
He might have a different story,
It's true.
But I think for the most part, sorry. I think for the most part, I'm definitely innocent until proven guilty type of person. Like I don't see the worst in people straight away.
To give grace. You're a gracious person.
I like to give grace. Like if I, for example, let's say I saw something that I didn't like, I'm the type of person to ask questions. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the type of person to say this is what you're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Or just to me, I can understand why people can jump to that, again, trauma or like just how they are as a person. I understand it, but it's not me. Do you know what I mean? I feel uncomfortable accusing someone of something with not enough.
You feel crazy
evidence or questioning. Not necessarily evidence, because not everything has evidence, but you could still be flipping guilty. But there's a build up for me to jump to
layers.
There's layers for me, but I don't just jump. There's layers for me to feel like this is what I think you are. Do you know what I mean?
This is what I think you're doing.
Like if my man was ever with my friends, the first thing that will come to mind, y'all planning my proposal, or y'all doing a surprise birthday. It would never come to my mind that anything is coming. Nah, never. It will never come like you're all sneaking behind my back to do bad.
Tell me, I'm the exact same as you.
I can't. My mind would never. It would never go there. Ever go there.
And even if one of us is trying to climb on the ledge,
the other will
bring us back down.
Because no, guys, you guys have really helped me to bring me down. Because again, there are certain there was one episode we were talking about. There was one episode I don't remember what we were speaking about. I think we were talking about if your man was keeping something away from you, but it was really important, like maybe a pregnancy news about someone else. And I told you, like, when he does finally reveal, I find out that I think what else has been on your mind that I don't know about, and you guys really brought me back very quickly. It's just like, okay, but do you know that kind of thing? And this is why you need friendship, balance, balance. Because like I said earlier, I'm a type of person that can jump sometimes because again, as a result, that's a result of my trauma or just I can recognize that. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's so true. And I feel like we're all very similar in that sense, where we have a certain level of self-awareness that we can recognize when our thoughts are not our own. We can recognize when the devil is really trying to
wage war.
Right. Like we're really good in that sense. All glory to God. We can recognize, like we can pinpoint, and it doesn't mean it makes it any easier. I feel like it actually makes it harder.
Facts.
Because it's like, well, why am I thinking this, and why do I feel this way? Like, why is this thought not shaking off? Like, why am I still feeling this way?
Right.
But it's like the fact that we can recognize that, we can say, okay, this is not a reflection of what they're actually doing.
Right.
This is
or who
just
they are.
this is just a weakness in my thought process.
100%.
It's a weakness in what's going through my mind.
Yeah.
And you can acknowledge it and then have that conversation with your partner if you need to. Or it's kind of just that's why it's so important, like you said, to have like-minded friends. So I remember I was having a conversation with a friend recently.
Imagine your friend fueling on your negative thoughts.
Gotta smash his
That means, if you're feeling that, that
true.
means, because
It's
the
true.
moon is in alignment with this thing, that means that, it's happening.
What?
Actually, what?
It's dangerous.
No, but that's some people. They're like, if you're feeling this, trust your instinct. Trust your instinct.
You don't even get maybe pray. Have you prayed? Have you spoken to God? Have you spoken to your partner?
That same instinct that has led you to disarray. That's the instinct that you want to trust.
Right.
Really?
Guys, and you know what's funny? I was even thinking, so what about instincts?
I think a woman's instinct is powerful, but as believers, we are not led by instinct.
Right.
We are led by the Holy Spirit. Instinct, the thing with instinct
That is a word.
Preach. The thing with
Facts.
the preach.
Close the doors. Ushers, close the Go close the doors. She preaching. Close the doors.
I told you. I
Close them doors. she preaching. Ain't nobody going nowhere. Close the doors. Actually, wow.
No, because that's a word.
No, ushers, close the door for real, because instinct. Yeah, your instinct can fail you.
Your instinct is also a sum of your trauma. Sometimes.
Right. Your instinct is
Wow.
also subconsciously
Do you know what I
mean?
your trauma seeping in.
It's
So what you
everything.
think you feel so strongly,
Right.
it's actually your emotions leading you to chaos.
Wow.
Because have you taken that instinct to the Holy Spirit?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Have you taken that instinct?
When you feel that instinct, that is, and this, I'm speaking to my believers here now. You listen and you listen up.
Remember,
Does
close the
anybody wanna be
doors.
saved?
Make sure them doors are closed.
Does anybody want to be saved?
Right.
I'm talking to my believers.
You go, girl.
When you feel that instinct, that is a moment for you to say, that is a moment for you to close your door.
Right.
And for you to speak to your Heavenly Father. Say, Lord,
Wow.
I'm feeling this.
Right.
What does this mean? Let me know if this
Where's
is
it
true.
coming
This
from?
is
What's
this
the
is
root?
you urging me.
Yeah.
Or if it's just my trauma.
Yeah.
If it's like past experiences that is feeding into this, let me know.
Yeah.
And the Lord will reveal it to you.
He will.
100%.
One way or another.
Always
Make sure
will.
you're listening though.
He
Because
always will.
On that, for me, I've been the queen of self-sabotage before. I've also been the queen of like believing my thoughts that are suggestions. Because sometimes you be having thoughts, but they're not yours.
Right.
Everything that comes into your head, don't claim it as yours, because
Right.
sometimes it can feel that way, but it's not true.
Right.
And that's why I said the believe in the best, because I think as women that are followers of the Lord, I saw a podcast one time, or maybe it was a sermon or something, but essentially as women that want to have godly men as partners with us, like, believing the best about it was a book I read, believing the best about your partner only brings the best out of them, if that makes sense. So the more you believe the best, the more you speak life over them, the more you encourage them and pray for them in the way that you want them to be, the way you want God to fashion them into being. You only see that.
said it.
But if you only believe that they're the worst, it can become.
And you know what's so good? People don't realize, but when you believe the worst about someone, that manifests in the way you speak to them, in the way you treat them, because you don't realize it, but your partner will start to pick up on it. Like, why is she talking to me like this? When we have disagreements, these are the insults that are coming out of her mouth. This, like, she's so quick to it's just
she's dismissive.
Right, she's dismissive. She's this. It shows up in the way you behave,
Right.
and then when that relationship breaks down, you're like, "See, I was right."
Yeah.
But really and truly, it was because of the way you behaved over a period of time. No one wants to be around that.
Yeah.
No one wants to be seen in a light where they're the worst.
100%.
No one. Because if you think about yourself as well, you would want someone to look at you and to give you grace, to be understanding.
100%.
For me, my biggest thing as well in relationship is to be understood and to be loved.
Wow.
So when one is not done, that makes me shut down.
Right.
So imagine now on the flip side.
Right.
Like, I feel like we need to
You're
be really careful, because we
preaching.
always think about me.
Yeah.
How am I made to feel?
Yeah.
How is it? But how are you making your
Them
partner feel?
Right.
You're causing stress press onto them sleepless nights.
And on that, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It starts from the
Yes.
inside.
You said
Everything that we want to become, whether it's to be better Christians, it starts with the renewal of your mind. So say, for instance, you want your relationship to be better. You want it to be prosperous. You want it to give God glory. It starts here. What do you think about the man? What do you think about love? What do you think about purity? What do you think about God's idea for relationships? Like, these are the things that you then spew out and behave like. The same with your girls. What do you believe your sisterhood is meant to look like? Do you believe that girls are always meant to be catty and jealous? You know, there's a continuous rhetoric about girl friendships, trios, that there's not really
one person
is left out, or there's two people that love each other and that they hate the other one. It's like, that's a belief system. And I refuse to be part of that belief system, because as a man thinks in his heart, so it is, then you'll be creating these weird scenarios in your mind that
without
then
even realizing, because it's subconscious and that's true a lot of the time.
So
quickly, do you guys, what I was saying, I think there was another question there about how do you feel? Are you the type of girlfriends that want your man to be around your friends, or you sort of want everything to be separate?
I want them to be around my friends.
Yeah, I want them to be around my friends.
Yeah.
I feel like sorry, go on. No,
I was just going to say, like, last year, for instance, these two surprised me with a book with messages from all the people that I love, and I cried, obviously.
This is a great example.
And then when I saw that my man was in there, I said,
of course it was going to be in there.
We hadn't known. We hadn't met at all.
We found a way. When there's a will, there's a way.
And when I saw him in there, I was just excited. There was no part of me that was like, how did they?
So they messaged him. They were speaking to him.
So they
What's going on?
How did they? What? Huh? I just thought that was so thoughtful. And so that sums me up.
That's a great example, you know.
For me, if these two are my heart and you're also my heart, we're all my heart, you know, together. And I
here together.
like, and some people are like, there's like this, there's that, like there's all these stipulations. To me, these two always want the best for me. I would never assume, there's never a point of me that would assume that there's anything untoward happening between them and my man. Like, there's just, I want them to even be so close because that's my world. Like, I don't know. To me, it just
it's
makes
just
sense.
your world coming together. Like, when
worlds collide.
When worlds collide, I feel like I definitely I'm the same as well. I just want. I'm a type of person, when everyone I love is in one room, and my heart is so full. I can literally be like, you're all here. Like, sometimes this sounds so dark. But sometimes it's so emotional to the point that I'm just like, I can't have everyone I love in the same room, because God forbid if anything happens to that room, that's my whole world gone.
Lich.
Like,
no, I hear you.
like, that's when I see people I love together, I'm just like, I love you all. Like, I'm just so full. I feel so like I'm just all of you.
No, it does something
like
to my
people,
brain.
you know. However, I feel like maybe I have heard on the flip side, people don't want that, because let's say your friends mix with your partner, and let's say then naturally his friends would then get in the picture, and everyone would start to mix together. That's a flip side. Is that something, obviously I'm taking it a bit further, but are you happy with that as well?
For his friends to
mix with your friends? Because then that's when people start saying
there's a success story.
Okay.
Really?
I know.
I'm not the same.
Not to say that I now want them, okay, like, you're making plans outside, but if we're all in the same room together, I know the type of friends that I have.
Okay.
I know my friends are lit. I know we have a great time when we're all together. So naturally, I would want also my man's friends that when we're all in the same room, like, for it to just be a vibe. It doesn't now mean that when we leave that room that the friendship needs to
carry
continue.
on. I think that's.
But then, how do you control that?
Yeah, that's where my brain is at, because for me, there's some,
because humans are humans, but all adults here, and if they want to talk outside of that, are you gonna put a stop and say no?
If it's good, it's your own business, but don't involve me when there's.
That's literally it.
Mine is more also like, it's not every single friend that we all need to mesh.
No, it's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, yes, I want my man and my friends to be good, but then it's not every single one of his friends that now needs to be in our friendship group.
Right.
And in the same way, not every single one of my friends needs to be in this. Like,
Right.
Like,
Correct.
it just needs to be balanced, and it has to be the correct ones.
Do you guys want to be friends with like your partner's friends as well?
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna force it though.
No, of course, it's
Yeah,
not
I'm
anything to
open
ever
to it.
force, but
I'm open
Do you know
to it.
what I
I feel
mean?
like I've made friends.
I want to
with
be.
everybody.
You've what?
Like, I make friends with everyone.
Yeah,
So like,
And
naturally.
I think it also depends on how my man feels about it.
of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course, I'm even. It's even to the point I'm even thinking outside of that, like like, let's say he is cool with it, because with me that goes without saying.
Yeah,
do you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
Let's say he is cool with it. He's like, yeah, like, you know, that kind of thing. I want to know the kind of people you're around. I want to know their mindset.
Yeah,
I want to know what you. But obviously,
you
for the
guys
most part,
friends?
you will be there. Like, except if we're planning something behind your back or something.
And there's
but
boundaries. Like, if I'm being friends with my man, I'm not messaging them really. Like, it's not like me and them are doing all these things.
What are you messaging them?
Do you know what I mean, what are we doing?
no,
But when
except
we're
if you're
together,
planning a big party for him.
that's it.
And I'll message you during the day.
I find it like, say, okay, this is another scenario then. Say if you go on your man's phone and you see he's just exchanging normal messages.
With
Like,
who?
hi, how are you?
With who?
With one of your girlfriends.
Huh?
If it's you two, I don't care.
No, okay, outside of us.
What are they talking about?
No, it's in they're just having conversation.
Just normal.
Just normal conversation. I can answer. I'll be like, what are you doing? No, that's what I'm saying. If it's outside of these two. Well, if it's these two.
I don't care if it's
because
these
I
two.
know them. I know them. But I don't worry, we'll come in. Outside, don't worry. Outside of these two, I would genuinely, what are you actually doing?
Wait,
What's
I'm trying
going
to
on?
really understand the context. You're saying he's messaging them.
Okay,
as in-
say if then he's put something on his Instagram story, one of your friends has responded, and then naturally it's gone into a conversation. Sorry.
Do you know, it's very sticky for me because it's not. I don't think it's a one size fits all for me. Like, my man can talk to my friends,
Yeah.
but like, it's what are you commenting? Like for me, if my girl popped up to my man's story and they put like, oh, you look really nice, you're crazy.
No, but say if it's okay, okay, not a picture of them.
Okay.
Say if they've reposted like a quote or something, and then the friend has gone, oh, so true.
Oh, I don't
and then
care.
it's like, yeah, no, but then you can see the friend has
It's
like
led on to a
conversation.
You see the
It's
friend
therapy.
has like not purposefully, but
It's turned
like she's
into
gone out of her way
therapy
to
in the chat.
Yeah.
That's still that doesn't bother me.
Okay,
But that's me.
tell me.
I don't know. That's my honest answer. I don't know how I'm going to act until the situation happens.
No, I know how you're gonna act.
How am I
She
gonna
won't
act?
like it.
Temmie's gonna.
I don't know because
Temmie, sorry.
because do you know why? The conversation for me is very specific. I need to know what
specifics.
until I know see the actual conversations when I'm going to know how to react.
But Temmie, I know you. It's not necessarily the react. I know you're gonna see it. You're gonna be like, this is really weird.
Like, why are they talking?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
The reason I might answer
Again, give me a script.
Okay. See, that's why
This is what I'm saying. Give me an
have a
actual
script.
script.
That's why I asked for specifics.
Someone give me a script and I'll tell you what I
Right,
could potentially
okay.
do. Without a script, I
Guys,
don't
if you
know.
have a script,
That's what I'm saying for me. In
Okay.
the context of my life, yeah, like people are like, my boyfriend is known as like a very like wise. He's also like spiritually like people ask him questions.
Right. Yeah.
If I see that he's got he's been having a conversation with someone and he's explaining something to them, to me that doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
But for me,
I
like,
get
there's
that.
boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, if your conversations are now varying on, they're just looking a bit somehow. That's when I'll have a problem. But if you're just talking to them, I don't-
This is why I said a script is necessary because same here.
But
I
even
feel like
that one is always like you don't have any other wise friends.
also you. Oh, don't bother you. Because me and we're in the same
Things-
Bible study group together.
guys, no, listen to my
No, it
reason
wouldn't
why
bother
I
me,
don't
but I'll
know.
really be like, oh, okay, wow.
Really? Okay, fair.
This
I want to
episode-
know about it.
Yeah.
That's all.
I don't know because again a lot of things matter.
Right.
What time are these conversations happening?
Oh,
That
okay.
matters. One, again, like you said, again, you've made me think a bit further out. My man is very similar. Like a lot of people, like even times when I'm with
Yeah.
him, people will call him for advice on certain things. You know, he speaks to them about spiritual things
Yeah.
and things like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So he's that kind of person. So,
Right.
and I know what I was getting
So
myself
you wouldn't
into
see
with
it
that
wouldn't
kind
be
of person.
absurd.
Yeah,
Right,
if
of
it was
course. Yeah,
that nature of conversation,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, for the most part, it happens on the phone. To what I know, do you know what I mean? Because that's something where rather than take long to reply, so you probably want a quick answer. You just want to have a conversation with someone. So that
real
context
quick.
would be more on the phone.
Right.
Where now there's a conversation happening where it's taking one day and at 10 p.m. you're responding to him, and you know that. It's so specific for me.
Right,
Like
yeah, it would have to be in the
something minor
details.
can change the whole trajectory
you.
for me. That's
I
why I
hear
don't
you.
know. So I'm gonna leave it as it.
It's so interesting.
Just don't be inappropriate because you're crazy.
But then inappropriate is selective. That's why I don't know.
Inappropriate, selective.
For some people will not find certain things inappropriate.
Oh,
Like you will.
subjective.
Subjective. Oh, sorry. It's subjective.
Is inappropriate. No.
It's subjective.
Oh, you do
Trust
surprise
me.
it.
You'll be very. Someone
be
will argue
surprised.
their case that something is not inappropriate, but you
Inappropriate, yeah.
find it inappropriate.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Fair.
That's why I don't know. I need to see, and I will tell you how I'm feeling in that moment in time.
Yeah,
I hear it.
I hear that.
I don't, you know,
I
about
feel like this is the start of some very good conversations on this.
yeah,
podcast.
it's really
No,
giving me a lot of
honestly,
insight because
It should
again,
be like therapy.
do you know another thing that sparked up? A lot of people don't want their partners and their friends to be friends on social media. So how would you have seen this post? Are you friends on social media? Another conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
guess
I don't
We'll
know.
be back soon to tackle the rest of these
Right,
things.
honestly.
We might make it like a series.
Yeah, that would be
honestly.
good. But yeah, we love
That
you
is so
guys.
interesting.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Bye.